If you enjoy the Low Scale Gaming podcast, please leave us a like, review, and subscribe. Any feedback is welcomed, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Low Scale Gaming Podcast. I'm Conan Jones, because Fantasy's not here. No, she's not. I love you.
Huh? Keep it all in.
Keeping it all in?
Keeping it all in. Not kidding.
We just started. Yeah, I just talked to her on the phone, but she's not coming. She was just getting Panda and going home. So. Yeah, we're off script today. Fantasy's not here. He was busy. Something came up. We haven't heard anything back. But Inferior Mage is here also. Mage, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Good week.
Good.
Been a couple good weekends actually.
I like it.
We had a good weekend last week.
We did.
We had a good weekend this week.
So what all was good besides stuff that is both of our wins?
Well, I mean, I played some League yesterday and it was pretty fun. I played with a couple of friends that I haven't played in a while. Not Conan because he didn't ever come on.
Yeah, you texted and asked if we wanted to, and I was like, "Oh, that actually sounds like fun." And like my wife was off doing, she had like a group thing that she went to yesterday, and I went to go get food, and I came back and ate, and I put on in game because I had like started it earlier in the day, while she was napping. And I tried to finish it while she was there, and she was like, "Nope, watch it later while I'm gone." So I turned it back on, and then I just got into it because I forgot how good it was.
Oh yeah, I watched Endgame like a couple weeks ago. It's awesome.
Yeah, I do have a request. Could you move your phone a little closer to your mouths?
No,
Aww.
don't keep that one in.
Yeah, I have to say we still have to like get rid of those.
Yeah. 548. Mark it.
No, that's only like 210. We're not that far in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's the time. Sorry, it goes off of. I just use the timer for the recording, not the. But you know, I'm doing okay. It's been a good weekend, pretty chill. We haven't really done anything this weekend. Like, I played a little bit of games and then just kind of hung out and watched Infinity War and in game. So that's pretty much done with all of that stuff. Now, kind of just a chill weekend, which is good because it's like 110 outside right now, and I'm not about that life.
Oh yeah, man. I went out earlier and it's awful.
It's miserable. Faux
Like,
show.
it's so hot. It's so hot outside. It's ridiculous.
Indeed. Well, all right. I guess we just want to like jump into wins or fails, like just like right off the bat.
I guess so. I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good because I was free.
Because you were
That
free.
makes sense. Yeah, like I didn't have to do a whole lot. I wasn't stressed about anything.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Okay, so I mean, is that your fail? Like, what is your fail, Mage?
So we know how last week I was like, I was supposed to have this week off.
Yeah.
But I knew I was gonna have to work like a day or something this week. Guess how many days I got off this week?
2.
No, I just got the Monday off.
Heck yeah. That's what you want.
I had to work every other day. Tuesday through Friday. I was supposed to have a whole week off.
Gosh. That's rough, man.
Oh yeah, I was pissed.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, that's...
Like, especially like Friday, where I was like, really? You're going to still make me do this stuff? And it's like, I was like, I had requested off like 3 weeks ago.
and now you're just bending me over and making me do stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool.
I appreciate that.
I understand what matters to you guys.
Yeah. Not that I've asked off for this like way in advance or anything, but
Right.
that's dumb. I'm sorry. That's so like, when is your like official last day though?
This Friday. So
You just got a full week left and then you're done.
yep.
Hell or high water, I am not coming back next week.
Yep.
So do you have any leads for stuff for moving to the city?
A little bit. I mean, I've been looking around. There's a couple of promising looking places. I do, because the city's so big, like wise.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to get a job first before I move. I mean, just so I know if I move, I can move somewhere closer. But at the end of the day, it's really not that big a deal. I'd take a better deal over close proximity.
Yeah.
So,
because that's one thing is like, yeah, you can live a decent while like ways away, but the commute's never really that bad. Like unless you're trying to hit 240, like you're going to Lawton at rush hour at 5 o'clock. I know Finnessy. I'm glad he's not here to make fun of me because of that time we had to go to Washington for that football game. Did you go to that trip?
I don't think so. Sorry, I took a drink exactly when you were asking.
No, you're okay. Do you remember that story?
Not really.
Okay, I'll tell that story even though he's not here, so we can just get my side of it because that's actually how it happened. So,
yeah.
So in college we had those for the fraternity, like let's go play with the high school marching bands and stuff in the stands and promote SWASU and all that sort of stuff with those kids and stuff. So we were going to Washington, which is down there on the south side of Norman, if you're not sure. So we were coming from Southwestern in Weatherford to Washington. Excuse me. For the football game at about 7 o'clock. I think we were trying to get there about 6. I think the band director was like getting us food or something like that. So we were trying to get there a little early. And Finnessy, who grew up in Oklahoma City, was like, hey, you do not want to hit and go through the middle of Oklahoma City to hit 35 or even 240 to go around the city. Like, you should get off in El Reno and take back roads and come in from the side and stuff. And I was just like, nah, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It won't be that bad. And we hit traffic. And the entire time he was just stank facing me like, Conan Jones, I told you. Almost exactly like that. And he still gives me grief for it to this day. So I'm glad I don't have to hear it and I can just tell the story, but I'm sure he'll listen to it and be like, that's not how it happened, blah 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 blah. This is how it really happened. Da 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 da. But
or you could be like, I told him.
I told him.
I told him.
Which he did. So I was just like, I eat crow and you were right. I was wrong. But I think we were still the first car there. And because I think I was still driving. I don't remember if I was still in the Avenger or not. I might have still been in the Avenger.
Probably.
Yeah, because then we would have had both of our sousaphones crammed in the back of the Avenger and like maybe somebody else's instrument. I can't remember if somebody else was with us or not, but because I think we went to Bobo's after that game too, and then we're just miserable. Man, yeah. Those were fun times. They're kind of those trips that you don't realize you're having as much fun as you're having while you're doing it, as opposed to looking back on it and being like, man, that was actually fun times.
It was always about the friends we made along the way.
It's not the journey.
It's not the destination, it's the journey.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I meant to say. But, okay.
What's your fail of the week, Conan?
I didn't really have a fail. Like, I was out of work until Wednesday. Like the only thing I could really think of was that I just did not care. Like, it took like a day and a half for me to get back into my giving a crap about work mood, you know what I mean? And then by that
Sure.
point it's Friday, and then you have your normal Friday I don't care kind of slump.
So, yeah, it's like, well, I'm going to be super unproductive this week.
Yeah. So I was just like, it is. I don't want to say it was a wasted week, but it was not as productive 3 days as it probably should have been. And like one of the ladies at work, she sees me walking around the office sometimes, and she's always been super sweet to me. But she does like child support enforcement or something like that, and she was wanting me to apply for an opening that they have, but she said that it was like a significant pay cut, but it's just paperwork. You don't have to go into the field or anything like that. And I was like, I don't I don't dislike the field work so much that I would take a pay cut. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's the paperwork is the worst part of the whole thing. So it's like I don't.
Yeah, it's like, so let me take a pay cut to do the worst part of my job.
Yeah, the part that I hate doing.
I'm with you there. Like, I don't mind talking to people or going places. Dude, man, that paperwork, though, is so annoying.
It just like it builds up so fast. Like they started a deal with our group, or I guess our office, that they're having a contest to get everybody 5 days current or something on inputting paperwork into the system. Because I guess that's become an issue with I guess the state in general. So it's like if you have a case assigned to you in August, you have like the 3 or 5 days, whatever it was, to get your interviews documented into the system, to then have your name put in for a drawing for some sort of prize at the end. So like every interview for every case that meets criteria, your name would go in for the drawing or something like that. I read the email when I was still like not totally back into it yet, so I don't totally remember, but I was like, well, I guess it's something, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to say I don't really care, but that's not really.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird. But,
I'm bad about just like doing all my paperwork in one sitting too, or like a couple sittings. Like I'll procrastinate on it, and I'm like, okay, I have to do this.
yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna stay up until it's done. Like we'll just do it, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's like midnight, and I just finished everything. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before and just no-lifed it and be like, hey, honey, I'm having a late night tonight. Like, I'm not going to make it home. Like, I'll grab food on the way and just sit at the desk and just type everything and get everything done and just no-life it while I have the energy to do it.
And then you do that enough, and then your wife texts you about, are you cheating on me?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. No, not quite that far, but
Yeah. I haven't done that much.
Yeah.
Just drinking with the boys. That's what I'm really doing.
That I did do that one night because like one of the guys in the office, he asked me to come over to his apartment. He was having issues with one of the programs, and he was like, hey, I need help with this. And the supervisor tried to walk me through it over the phone, and I can't figure it out, and I don't want to call her back. Can you come show me? So I went over and kind of showed him how I was doing, and then we had a couple beers, and then my wife was like, hey, are you still over there? And I was like, yeah, I'm still here. It's like, okay, that was just an hour and a half ago, and I haven't heard anything. Making sure you're not dead on the side of the road or something. It's like, yeah, good call. It's like, no, I'm okay. I'm just still here.
I'm just dead on the inside.
Yeah.
Not on the side of the road, but my mind is dead.
My innards are dead. But okay. Yeah, I didn't really have a real fail. That was kind of just the only thing I could really think of. So,
Yeah, mine was just annoying. Like it's like, but but I think it was softened because I knew that this was going to happen. Like that is the one big thing about state jobs. I think it's every state job, not just DHS. But they'll like preach self care over and over and over again, and then when you try to do it, it's like, well, here's a condition.
yeah. It's like, no, if you want me to keep doing the thing, like, you need to give me some time to process all of this. Like, I'm just burning myself out, and then I'm not going to be here at all to do anything. Like,
Yeah, and with the intense amount of paperwork that we, because it's usually the paperwork that makes them like, well, I can't approve this leave until you get this paperwork done,
yeah.
or I can't. Even if you've done the thing, you just have to document it, and just because there's just absurd amounts of paperwork for every little thing that you have to do.
Yeah, that's what happened with my leave too. It's just I had a couple that were pretty close, and they're like, "Okay, these two have to be closed out before I can even approve it. You can go ahead and submit it, but it won't get approved until after those are cleared."
Yeah, and it's just like they either need to reduce the caseload so that way we can actually do the paperwork for it, or somehow streamline the paperwork.
And I think that's what they're trying to do with all the online and going virtual and all that sort of stuff. Like, in a perfect world, I think that's the plan, but I don't know. I guess we'll actually see if that actually pans out or not.
I'm doubtful.
Yeah, as am
So
I.
I think like, and that's the bad thing. Like listeners, they listen to everyone that's like complain about work, and I'm sure everyone has complaints about work. I don't think the job's bad in itself. I'm not quitting because I hate my job or anything like that. I'm quitting because I want to move. Is the main thing why I'm quitting.
Yeah. You're just
uh,
relocating. You're not really quitting.
yeah, it's like I'm relocating and having a brief reprieve
Yeah.
until I get a new job kind of a deal. Um, but like, there's a lot of like good work that we do.
Oh, yeah.
And there's definitely it's a very worthwhile job, I think. But you definitely have to have, because I mean that's kind of the hard thing about when you're talking about jobs and stuff, because you just want to like nag on all the bad stuff. But there's definitely a lot of good things done, and okay, DHS really isn't. It's not a bad organization, or at least it doesn't intend to be. Human, it's like humans are bad, and, and humans may make mistakes, but someone who like does child welfare, because I think a lot of listeners, and a lot of people, just like they see someone talk about child welfare, and it's like it's always bad,
Yeah.
or like, oh, they took my baby, or they lied to me about me getting my baby back, or something, and that's typically not the case. It's like, oh my God, I got a letter from one of the parents I worked with, um, and it was basically like it was just a long letter accusing me of lying to him and adding stuff to his caseload and making things hard for him on purpose. and and this guy is, first of all, that's definitely not anywhere close to anything that I've done.
It was like another
'Cause-
DHS worker?
no, it was a parent on my
Oh.
case
Okay, got you.
that we had removed a child from, and I was working with him and the mother to see if we can get the child back.
Hmm.
And he but so he's incarcerated, or at least was when he wrote the letter, and it's just like this long letter of just like accusing me of not doing my job, and this was a while ago, by the way, too. But I mentioned it because it's just like or and adding stuff to his caseload, and no, and like not being are keep changing the things, like he's doing something and like he's not doing the right thing. And no, like we the way at least permanency planning works is like at the very beginning we work on a service plan, and they have to agree to it, and then we get that approved by the court, and basically we don't touch it unless like something gets disclosed, or like there's some kind of issue on the case because people change, or there's something that we didn't see before.
Yeah.
That any changes have to get approved by the court. So obviously I didn't change anything on his service plans. He's just he was just being an idiot, pretty much. That's what it was, and blaming other people for his mistakes. But it's just so funny because like every single time I see someone like complain about child welfare or like CPS or something, and it's because they like removed the child, or they got their rights terminated, or they have someone they know that had their rights terminated. And I'm just thinking to myself, it's like how much false information are the people that got their rights terminated throwing out there? Because it's like they have their side of the story, but their story is obviously
Not right.
yeah, well, not right, or I guess like their truth is so subjective.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess.
Those are better words.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't, at least when I'm talking with like parents and stuff, I don't ever think that they lie to me. But they do. They straight up do lie to you sometimes. But I always give them like the benefit of doubt, and I was like, well, either they lied to me or they told me what they thought was true, but it's definitely not true. So, but I mean, that's how I always feel like it is. It's just like there's so much like false information out there, and the people that do child welfare are good people for the most part, but they are humans, and everyone has issues, and everyone makes mistakes for sure. But
Yeah.
it's just interesting. So listeners, when I complain about child welfare, or or Conan complain about child welfare, it's not because I think the organization is bad, but just like any organization, nothing changes if you don't criticize it, I think, is a good way to put it. So there's definitely issues that I think could be fixed. For example, our program is a Windows 98 program. That definitely needs to be fixed. Like, it's so slow. It's just, and it crashes a lot. So, like, it's like little things like that. Like, I think it's just an organization like any other organization. It's not really good or bad. So,
Yeah.
just kind of defending it a little bit before I go on a tangent about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it a sandwich of good and bad.
Yeah. But honestly, it's like any organization.
No, I'm with you, because I don't have anything negative to say about the people I work with or the people above me or anything like that. Like, the stressors of the job get to you sometimes, and like you said, you got to take care of yourself and can't pour from a half-empty cup kind of situation.
Yeah, it's like, I got nothing more to give.
Yeah.
Let me take a break.
And sometimes it's more difficult to take that break than it should be, but like you said, I don't think that's really any one particular person's fault. It's just kind of how
like, it's easy to blame like our supervisors, but then our supervisors have to answer to our district directors, and our district directors have to answer to our regional directors and stuff. And it's just like if we don't get yelled at, somebody else is going to get yelled at. It's
Yeah.
kind of the deal. And no one wants to get yelled at, so everyone yells at each other.
Yeah. Poop always rolls downhill.
Yeah,
So.
like any other big organization or company.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure it's the same way with like banks, or with I know car businesses are like that a whole lot. I mean, sales jobs, like, you have pyramid schemes and all that stuff. So at least it's no pyramid scheme. There you go. Oh, I'm sorry. MLM, multi-level marketing.
There you go. That's not a pyramid scheme. You insensitive person made you.
Yeah. Yeah, dig it.
Ugh.
I guess that's our topic one. We didn't actually write a topic one.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of one because it's like it's usually school stuff or try to be school stuff. But then I was like, well, we can just talk about DHS stuff or try to. But we usually do pretty decent about finding something to talk about with our job. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
even if it just does turn into complaining. But
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, I will say one thing: our job is not boring.
no.
No, there's so many, like, people are stupid. Like, I didn't realize how stupid people were. So I say, like, the best two ways to find out how the normal populace acts is working in a service job, like, or working in a social working job. like
Agreed.
like that will give you the best sense of how normal people are. And normal people are usually just really impatient or really dumb. Like, it's just there's no two ways in between it.
Yeah, because I've definitely gotten like both ends of that spectrum with this job. Even teaching, like you get it with the kids, but kids get it from their parents. I mean, you have to deal with the parents eventually. And as after you have the kids in class and you meet the parents, and you're like, okay, yeah, you're definitely like Johnny's dad or Johnny's mom or whatever, whatever the case may be. Like, I totally see that child's mannerisms in you as the adult. Like,
Oh yeah, like, they get it from somewhere. It doesn't come from nowhere.
yeah,
You see
exactly.
a kid, yeah, you see some kind of bully, he's getting it from somebody else.
Yeah,
Or you see like there's something, you can always tell what's going on in the home a little bit by the kid's personality.
yeah. All right, you want to talk about topic two, number two?
What is topic two real quick? Let me pull it up.
All right, so I have frog fractions and the 10-cent ban on here. Have you heard anything?
Oh yeah.
You
So I was playing Frog Fractions before we got on here.
yes.
Um, so Frog Fractions, I guess, is like an old Flash game that was recently put on Steam. I don't know how old it is actually,
I
but
think it was
that's
like
kind of what.
2011 or 12. I think is when it came out originally.
Which
Oh,
I guess is like almost 10 years ago. But it's definitely a Flash game, or it looks like a Flash game at
yeah,
least.
October 25th of 2012.
And it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I tried it. I played it a little bit yesterday, getting ready for this podcast actually, and and I was getting upgrades, and I didn't realize that there was a whole new type of game. And so Conan was telling me a little bit about that, so I'm not going to spoil it to you guys. But there's some interesting stuff that you can do after you get the dragon upgrade. If you guys ever play this game, it's free on Steam. So if you want to play it, you can download it for free on Steam. and and what's you get the dragon, and you figure some stuff out about what you can do with the dragon.
And
It
where
opens
you
up
can go.
a whole new world for this game.
Yeah. So I think you and I both got to about the same spot because I got to where you are and I just couldn't get past it. And I kind of got frustrated and kind of stopped playing it. But I was going through it originally and I could not like wrap my brain around what was going on. So I had to go get my wife and I was like, "Okay, you need to come in here and experience this with me because I can't with this right now. Like, I just need you to experience this with me." So she sat in my room and watched me play it for a second. And it was definitely a trip. Like, I just did not know what was going on at all. I was listening to the Beastcast, were talking about it the other day, and there's like, oh, it's free on Steam. It's like the Game of the Decade edition. So I was like, okay, if it's free on Steam, like, I'll go look at it. And it's like, as much as you guys have talked about it, especially with it being free, like, I'll give it a shot. Got into it, and then I texted you and Finn about it. She's like, "Okay, I want to talk about this. Please go download it. Please play it."
Yeah. The game is ridiculous. Like, I just the fart noises and all the like vaguely bathroom audio.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just like I was like, this is just juvenile humor.
Oh
It's
yeah.
hilarious,
It's a
though.
total like candy stand flash game. Like,
Yeah. I love games like that where it's just so weird, so stupid.
because I started off and I was playing it like normal because I kind of just I figured it looked like one of those like edutainment kind of things that's trying to teach kids fractions. But then like you ate the bugs and they were just fractions that made no sense at all. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
if the bugs got closer to the fruit, it was a different. And it's like no, sometimes it was like 1/4 or like 256/7 or it's like random things.
Yeah. And then they'll go to scientific notation
Yeah. with,
randomly.
with like the little up arrow to the 7th degree and like
Yeah.
so
2.67 times e
yeah.
to e to the 4th degree.
Yeah.
It's just like,
So
okay.
I was going through it and I was like, okay, what is the actual point of this? So I looked it up real quick and there was some article somebody had wrote from like 2014 and it's just like this is a weird thing and you just have to keep going with it. We're not going to say anything about it. Like you just need to go play with it and go just mess around and keep going. Like do yourself a favor and just keep playing it. Like and I'm glad I kept going, and I'm glad I told you to try it again and keep going with it.
Because I did get stuck at the very beginning because I didn't understand what I had to do
Yeah,
or that I could do that. But just saying,
it's
once you get the dragon, press the down arrow. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. after
Yeah.
that, you're good.
You're on your own, but it's free. Like go try it. I'm sure Finn has not tried it, but we'll give him a week to complain to him about it so we can see what his thoughts are on it next week.
Yeah, we'll just be slightly passive aggressive this whole podcast.
Yes. And whenever he listens, we'll be just like, oh, hope you caught the passive aggressiveness. Is that the name of our episode this week? Passive aggressive? I like it. Passive aggressive frogs? Fair enough. Okay. I had another.
Sorry about that. My Discord just crashed for whatever reason.
Oh, fun times. I was like, you're usually pretty good about responding to my ramblings.
Yeah. No, it just straight up crashed. I don't know.
Good job, Discord.
Yeah, thank you. So I had to reconnect. What did you say? I missed like 3 seconds. But it sounded like you had a question.
If the title can be passive aggressive frogs. The title.
Oh, I think so. I think that'll work.
We found a winner. Okay, because I always I forget to put the title in, and then as I'm editing, I'll go back and try to find what we laugh at based on the spikes in the audio, and then I'll just name it that, and then I'll actually listen to it, and I was like, oh man, there were 4 other way better titles that we said that I just didn't write down while we were going. But I had a second topic too with the 10-cent ban. Have you seen stuff with that going on?
Yeah, I read the article that you linked.
Yeah.
I did vaguely hear about Trump banning TikTok. I looked a little bit at it. Part of me is TikTok probably needs to be banned because there's a lot of creepy things about TikTok involving children. But I just hate the reasons why Trump is banning stuff. He's definitely not doing it because he cares about people. He's definitely doing it because they made fun of him.
Mm-hmm.
So and I hate saying that about our president, but this is where we are. He's done so many crappy things, and they've all been for himself.
Yeah. Well, it's
that being said,
go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, that being said, Tencent's not a good company. So there's the other half of the situation. Tencent is not a good company. They're Chinese run, which doesn't necessarily make them bad, but
It's
they
not a step in the right
a lot
direction.
of well, first of all, like the Chinese government does not do a whole lot as far as like labor laws and stuff, but there's a lot of like crappy things that Tencent does. If you want to look them up, you can. I mean, it's all over the place.
Now,
Reddit's probably the best place to get your news, but Reddit will. If you go to Reddit and put Tencent, it's like 8 articles about how awful they are. I mean,
yeah, it's Tencent also owns like just about everything nowadays. Seems like because like they have a 100% majority stake in Riot Games, which does League of Legends, obviously, and it was like a 40% stake in like Supercell, I think is what it was. The company
yeah,
that does
yeah, Clash of Clans,
Clash of
and
Clans. Yeah,
they also have like not 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 as large of a stake as I thought, but they do have a pretty large stake in Epic Games that do Fortnite. So people were really worried that this executive order that Trump is doing is blocking all the games that Tencent owns.
because the whole ban was to block any sort of financial transactions happening between like WeChat, I think was the name of the original. Yeah.
Yeah, which according to the article, WeChat is basically like Chinese Facebook.
Okay. That I didn't actually look into what WeChat was, but that makes a little bit of sense. Like I
Yeah, and the big deal with WeChat and organizations run by Tencent and TikTok is that they take your personal information and they sell it like hardcore. But
yeah.
I hate to say it, so does Facebook, so does Instagram. That's how they make their money. That and ads. I mean,
Yeah.
they sell to advertisers, and
So you
those are
can get
targeted ads.
targeted personalized ads because Facebook heard you talking about the cat food you needed to buy and then you see 45 cat food ads like
And I'm one of those people that try to be as objective as possible, especially when I'm looking at news and politics and stuff, because it's so easy to get caught up in just like one side's right and the other's wrong, and that's never the case. I'll just go out and say that's never the case. No one. It's always about different perspectives and who's who and culture, and there's a lot that goes in with laws that people overlook. But I will say, like, Tencent's not a good company, but Trump's also not a good person. So I don't know how to feel about this Tencent ban, if that makes sense.
yeah. Like I don't know enough about WeChat, so it's like to
Yeah, but
understand
then you're like, yeah, but then you get like the slippery slope of just because it doesn't affect me, so I shouldn't care.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly. So it's just kind of setting that precedent of banning one or like banning transactions between one particular entity even though it's part of this bigger company like it's getting real slippery like
yeah, and I'm one of those people like, and I'll admit it, man. If it was anybody other than Trump doing it, I probably wouldn't mind it too much.
and honestly
Like,
probably stuff like that would get much less press coverage because it would be not Trump, but since everybody I'll say I don't want to say everybody but
everybody has an opinion on Trump.
yeah, and those that have negative opinions about him seem to be very loud. Like the ones in the middle do not have as loud of a voice right now. That I feel like.
No, it's either the ones that are very negative about him that are very loud, or the ones that are very positive about him that are very
Yeah.
loud. Like it's very he's a very controversial figure.
So I just
And
saw that.
I mean I'm very negative about Donald Trump, so I'll play a part of that. I don't think he's a good person. I've said it over and over again, listeners. If you listen and you don't agree with me, that's your right. I don't think Trump's a good person. I don't think he deserves the office of presidency, and I don't think he's run it well. That being said, Tencent's not a good company, so this is one of the few things that Trump is doing that I'm not going to complain too much about. But also,
It's one of those I'm gonna keep my eye on it kind of situation.
yeah, it's like I'm going to keep my eye on it because I also know that Trump's not doing it for good reasons. Because he hasn't done anything in this presidency for good reasons. It's always been very selfish reasons.
Indeed. Yeah.
Like it's always about ratings or how the public perceives them, or just drawing in big old crowds is what he wants. He wants people to see him. It's not whether they like him or dislike him. He just wants people to see and talk about him. And he's done that successfully. I will say that he's been very successful in what his goals are. His goals are just not good goals.
Not presidential goals.
No.
I don't really have much more on that. I just kind of thought it was interesting that a band that started off with something else kind of leaked over into gaming stuff, which is the only reason I even kind of brought it up.
Yeah. It is interesting because the executive order from what I was reading was worded very vaguely, and then like specified WeChat. He's like, no, I just want to do WeChat. So that kind of cleared it up, but it's also like, hey, if you're going to do an executive order, you probably need to be a little bit more specific or a little bit more clear about what you want.
Crazy thought, right?
Yeah, because it could affect a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because Tencent, as much as I don't like them, they are a huge company. And they also do stuff like Pokemon, I think. I think they have a stake in Pokemon.
It wouldn't surprise me. I feel like they've got their into just about everything, seems like, as far as tech and video games. And
yeah, it's one of those massive companies.
Because then it kind of asks that question of, like, if that band stuck with Tencent as a whole and everything they were a part of, like, since they, like, just use League as an example, like, they completely own Riot Games, so does that then cut off transactions with Riot? Or does that just totally, like, shut the servers down? Like, I wonder what that would look like. Because it seems like if you're just not able to have transactions, like for me, who doesn't really buy anything, like, oh darn.
Yeah, but then could you even buy the champions? Well, even though you can buy champions for free using the blue asset stuff, but you can also pay for champions. So does that just remove the paying feature altogether?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't know how that would work. So it's kind of like, do in-game transactions still count as a transaction with that company, even though it's not quote-unquote real money? Like, because, yeah, I'm sure you are buying champions with real money that then get turned into, like, if you buy a card at Walmart for RP or something and then just turn it into in-game stuff is a different story. But
yeah, for sure. So it's a good thing that we don't have to deal with it right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But keep an eye on it because
stuff's getting hairy.
I don't know. I think Trump's going to do more outrageous things before November. so it could just get more and more scary before the new election comes up.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude. Crazy.
It's definitely something to be worried about, I think.
Yeah. All right, I'm good there. You good there?
Yeah, I think we're okay to move on.
All right, what you been playing anything this week? Oh, Mage is gone again. Welcome back.
Gosh dang Discord, man.
I had Discord. I was actually looking at it and you left, and I was like, oh, well, I'm talking to myself now.
Yay!
Have you been playing anything this week?
Not really, man. I played Frog Fractions, like you asked.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. It's definitely one of those things that I don't think I could get into, but it was a fun gag.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like one of those that you would go back to. I think it's just the novelty.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem with those games. Like you can't really make money off of them, but they're fun.
Yeah.
I played some League. That's always fun. At least I have a good time playing League, and I don't know about you guys. I have a great time playing League. I love
Yeah.
that game.
I'm having more fun with it now. Like, I there was a while like playing with you guys, I would get real mad at everything, and like here recently, I guess I've just kind of changed my mindset of just trying to like not necessarily get better, but just to understand what happened and thinking of it more objectively, I guess, in that situation. And that's kind of helped me with that. It's like, okay, I died because I was doing this, not because of this other person not doing this.
Yeah, I think with League you have to be a little bit more self-centered. Also, that mute button there, lifesaver. If someone's being annoying, you mute them.
Oh yeah, I turned off all chat, faux show. Like,
Yeah, like it's just yeah, no reason to have it. You're there to have fun. You're playing a game. Who cares what they think?
yeah,
like,
like
like
especially
does it?
the other team.
I think the reason why I have so much fun with the game is because I know at the end of the day, win or lose, my life isn't going to change any. like, like I obviously I want to win, but if I lose the game, there's no reason to get all butthurt about it because how is my life any different than I lost a game on League of Legends?
Yeah,
like it's just it's meaningless at the end of the day. It's just a game to have fun.
I don't know. What would always irk me is that like you would have those games where you personally do really well, but then you end up losing because this one person is just a total jackwagon, and it's part of me is just like I shouldn't be punished for you doing bad. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and definitely that's irksome. It is a team game, and if you feel like someone in your team isn't holding up their end of the deal, yeah, I can understand getting upset about it. But also, at the end of the day, it's just a game, and I know the difference between like, well, freak. I was watching so on YouTube. There's this guy named Solo Renekton only.
Yeah.
He just plays top lane, but he's doing this thing called 60 days to masters, and he went on an unranked account and brand new account. And after he did his promos, I think they placed him in like bronze. Well, like he was able to climb in like 40 games. Like he's already in like diamond, and he's on day 9. like so even though like I understand that mindset, I also know that I'm not good enough of a player to completely blame that one person.
Yeah.
Because if they're able to, if those high elo players are able to climb all the way to diamond from the same spot that I'm at, then there's definitely stuff that I'm not doing, even if that player is feeding. Because I'm sure that they've had players feed in low elo.
Yeah. They're just
But they
able
are
to
somehow
then
able to win
carry.
those games by themselves. Yeah, they're somehow able to win those games by themselves. So what am I not doing to be able to win this game by myself? you know?
And I think it's that mentality that I'm trying to adopt more of, and being like, okay, trying to learn from those mistakes or whatever it is, and blaming myself and not the others. It's like, okay, what could I have done to fix that?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, you can have a great game objectively where you went like 15-5 and you still lose, and yeah, it's super frustrating. But you're also like, well, I also have 5 deaths, so why did I die those 5 times?
do you ever go back and watch like your old recordings now that they've added that feature?
No, not really. Just because I prefer to play and not spend the time to actually study myself. But I probably improve a whole lot if I did that.
Yeah, I've done that a time or two. Like there was a time, like I remember there was one time that we were all playing together, and I was playing Jinx, and y'all gave me grief about some team fight that oh, you could have got a couple more kills with that, but you backed off, blah blah blah. So I remember I went back and watched it, and I was like, no, y'all were wrong.
I
Like
remember that too.
I went back and looked at that, and y'all were dead wrong, and I would have Mondo died.
Yeah, and you know, It's part of the game.
Yeah. All right.
People's perceptions are different.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. I like that option to be able to go back and watch stuff if needed. It's
I mean,
also
that's what I do on this podcast when Fantasy tells me I didn't say something or I did say something that I didn't. And I go back and I'm like, I did not say that.
it's like, nope, I
Here's the
did.
clip. You deaf.
You hear what you want to hear.
You deaf, mofo.
All right, let's see. Where are we at? Oh, for me playing stuff. Fantasy actually bought me the Destroy All Humans, and I was playing that, and that is some fun times. I I guess I was expecting more from whenever they just redid it. It's still surprisingly rough around the edges. Like, it doesn't really seem like they did much of a reboot or like of a polishing to it. It's kind of like they just took the PS2 version and just uploaded it to Steam.
So it's more like a re-release than a remaster.
Yeah. So it's, now that I've said that, I wonder if it's even branded as a remaster. But I mean, it was still fun, still having fun with it. It is exactly what I remembered, and I'm having a way easier time with it now that I'm older and understand video games than when I was younger and playing it then. Cause
I just remember the game being ridiculous.
oh yeah, it's definitely ridiculous. Sorry, I'm looking at this now. Rebuilt from the ground up in every way. Faithful experience. So maybe they just totally redid it then. I don't know. There were parts of it that look good, but there are other parts that it just seems very old school. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like if you build it from the ground up, I expect it to be built from the ground up. You know?
Yeah. Well, and a lot of it is like based on the old school mechanics and kind of yeah, stuff like that. But I was having fun with it. I need to get back into it. I started playing Subnautica again. Also, I just kind of needed something else as a get away from League game kind of thing.
For sure, for sure. I think eventually we'll probably find a new game to play that all of us together or something.
Yeah, we'll find it eventually. So between those two, I don't think I've played League in a week or so. It's kind of just been Subnautica or Destroy All Humans. I've already closed Steam. Do I have anything on my recently played library? Frog Fractions, we've talked about that. A little bit of Kerbal. Yeah, and it's been 2 weeks since I've played Ori, so...
I need to finish up my Assassin's Creed playthrough. I'm getting really close to finishing it, but it's just a big old game. There's a lot to do. Almost too much to do.
Yeah. Like, I just got so burnt out on the Assassin's Creed stories and games that I just, like, I don't have any sort of care to jump back into it. One of them was free on the Epic one day or 1 week. Syndicate, I think. Yeah.
So I played the first one. I played Assassin's Creed 2, and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And basically, I didn't play any more Assassin's Creed until Odyssey. I do think Odyssey is a good one to jump into because they changed the format. And it's a good game. It's a really good game. But it's so big, and there's so much to do. And I have a hard time finishing games anyway. So I get real distracted, which makes multiplayer games like perfect for me because it's just like something I can do real quick and then get off.
In and out.
But yeah, so that's just my problem. Like, I love RPGs, but like it's one of those things where I probably shouldn't buy them because I have ADHD.
Yeah. Okay, I can dig it. You want to do a couple would you rathers? What are we sitting at?
Sure.
54? Yeah, we can do a couple of these. Um, in a survival situation, I'm going to put in the timestamp here 54:30, just in case. In a survival situation, would you rather resort to cannibalism or die first and be cannibalized?
Man, I'll eat somebody. I'll eat a person.
All right. I think I'm kind of the other side of that. Like if it's just me, like if I don't have like family to worry about or anything like that, I just like nah. I don't have a horse in the race, man. Like
Nah, man, I think starvation is like one of the worst ways to go. So, I mean, I'll survive. I'll be a survivor. I've eaten disgusting things before. By disgusting, I mean like calf fries disgusting, not like poop disgusting.
yeah,
And calf fries are delicious, actually.
I just say some people like swear by them.
Yeah,
Some
no, they're awesome. I love calf fries.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Dude, they're so good.
I've never
Lamb fries too. They're so good.
I've never actually had any. I've never had testicles, so
You never had testicles in your mouth?
I
I find
have.
that hard to believe.
See, it just doesn't. I don't, it doesn't seem like there'd be any way to cook those that it would just taste good to me. Like,
They fry them. Man, that's like the best way to cook anything. You fry.
while I don't disagree with you, like, I don't know. I don't feel like any of that would taste enjoyable. You know what I mean?
It's like a soft fried meatball. Like honestly, that's what it is, and it's awesome.
Do you like dip
I
it
don't
in
know if you ever
anything?
had it. Yeah, I mean they have sauces and stuff that you can put that you have it with. Sorry, I'm getting like congested all of a sudden.
Oh no, you're good. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's
Teach their own,
a time and
man.
a place. Like no judgment, but I don't- if they were in front of me, like I might be tempted to try it, but I'm definitely not going out of my way to get them. And you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely have food like that where it's like I don't like it enough to go out and get it.
Yeah.
So I understand that for sure. But I always try something at least once. I mean, even if I'm like I know like in much Asian cultures they eat like bugs and stuff, and I would try some bugs. I think because I'm kind of
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
It's getting weird.
Yeah.
So I mean I'll try that stuff, but it's definitely like um, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But I'll try a little bit.
But then you know you don't like it, so
Yeah, that way I know for sure.
I gotcha. I just like back to the would you rather. Like if I don't have a family to worry about, like you can just go ahead and kill me quick and eat me. I guess like I ain't. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought they said that you did you say that you die of starvation and then you get cannibalized or
No, you would you rather resort to cannibalism or die first and be cannibalized?
oh okay that's no I still resort to cannibalism. Sorry
Yeah.
guys, I
All
ain't
right.
gonna eat your brain though because that's where diseases are. But I've heard the back of the thigh and the buttocks is perfectly safe. So
You're gonna be picky. Okay.
yeah,
So for this next one, let's save this next one for whenever Finn's back. Plus, we're getting close to an hour. You want to jump into wins?
sure.
Let's jump into our wins of the week. Paige, what's your win this week?
Well, we had Conan's birthday this last Sunday and it was really fun.
It does not feel like that was a week ago. Like it feels so much longer ago now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long week, especially when I was supposed to be off and I wasn't.
Yeah.
I will be a little salty about that. Sorry, listeners.
I
But that was really fun. It involved copious amounts of alcohol.
did. It was
It
fun.
was it was a good time. Good time. Also, I got to play D&D today, which was really cool. I haven't played that in a while. We used for you guys that are interested in playing Dungeons and Dragons, a good way to social distance and still play Dungeons and Dragons with friends. We used a program called Roll20. They're not we're not sponsored by them, but it's a good program. There's a lot of really cool things you can do with it. I know they have a free package and a premium package. We were using the free package, and there's still a lot that we could do with just the free package. So, with what they give us on the free package, I can't imagine all the stuff you'll be able to do with the premium package. Um, I don't know if it's owned by Wizards of the Coast, but I can't imagine it not being, because
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
I have no idea. I know I set up a Roll20 account a while back and then never actually did anything with it. But I'm glad you're having fun with it though, because today was just day one, correct?
Yeah, it was our first session. We didn't go into combat, and we set a hard like end time for us, which I think is something that a lot of about a lot of like people who play Dungeons and Dragons need to do is like, hey, we're only going to play for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
Because a real easy thing I think is people like they're playing, they're hanging out, and they just want to go as long as they possibly can. But then like if you keep doing that, because you're not going to finish a campaign in one day, there's just no way unless you're like the only campaign you're doing is just a dungeon crawl. Um, so I think setting hard time limits is a real good idea. Um,
so
to avoid burnout.
so what is y'all's time limit?
Well, today we went for 3.5 hours because we had a guy who had to go to work at 4. But I think our time limit is about 4 hours normally.
Yeah, okay, I can dig it.
Yeah,
My
I think
turn.
there's plenty of time to do what you need to do.
Yeah, yeah, and if if it works, it works.
Yeah,
But all right,
honestly.
mine this week. Yeah, birthday dinner was fun, and then Finn came up. We went and we had dinner and had a couple drinks up there. When came back home, we were gonna Mage and I were gonna try to go out, but it didn't quite work out. Um, so we just grabbed some brewskis and came back home, played some League, drinking some beer. We were up till like what, almost like 1 or something like that, playing games. Um,
We were up longer. Like I honestly think we were up till like 2 or something.
it was definitely longer than I've been up, latest I've been up in a while, but it was fun. Like after the kind of the group went to bed, we just kind of just messed around and did dumb stuff, which we don't do enough of. But and then I treated myself and did a float tank this
Oh,
week.
I want to hear about this
Oh,
because this sounded super interesting when we were talking about it.
yeah, so like a float tank is like a sensory deprivation tank. The one that I went to, think of like a kind of like a large bathtub shower that goes all the way up, and the tub itself, you sit in maybe like 6 to 10 inches of water that has, I think they said, like 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt dissolved in it. Um, I anticipated it to be very salty in the air and like the ocean kind of thing, which it wasn't. The As soon as you get in at the first, like my eyes had to adjust to it and stuff, but then like I got adjusted to it and that was fine. Um, Floating like that is a very weird sensation. Like you just get in and sit down and kind of kick your feet back and just float on the little bit of water that's in there. They had this little kind of ring shaped floaty device that you just put in the like around the back of your head to help your head float, so you didn't have to hold your head up just in case it was uncomfortable.
Just in case your head wasn't fat enough to float on its own.
Yeah, so like even whenever without it, like my head was floating and I wasn't having to hold it up, but it was my head was low enough in the water that it could have gotten into my eyes, so I was having to hold it up to keep my eyes from getting wet. And with that much salt in the water, I was like, I ain't trying to mess with all that, so I just used the halo, the little ring.
Fair enough.
But floated for it was an hour float. You can set music to listen to, but I could not get my speakers to work, so I don't have anything to say about that. After I got out, you have to shower before you get in to like wash all the oils and stuff off your body, and then shower once you're out to wash all the salt off. But I was talking with the receptionist lady on my way out, and I was just like, hey, my speaker didn't work. Like, you showed me how to work it. You said just press the button and it turns on, but I couldn't ever get anything to come out of it. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was your first time, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, well, that like probably ruined the experience, didn't it? I was like, it just took a while for me to like relax and get used to it, to then zone out and like enjoy it. Like the first half of it seemed like I was kind of fighting it and getting used to it, I guess. But she ended up comping it, so I'll get to go back again for free later.
Oh, that's cool.
So, because they had a special going on whenever I bought it that was a massage and a float package. And I was like, I don't ever buy things for myself. I'm going to treat myself. So I got me a massage and a float package, but the masseuse like only takes 2 people a day and doesn't start back until next week. So I was like, I need to do this now because I'm not going to have time, and then I'll just save the massage for later. So now I get to do the massage and a float sometime later. So maybe October or November, something like that, I'll be back to a spot where I can take some more leave and go do it again. But it was nice. Like I would recommend it. It's a very weird sensation, but it was enjoyable though. Like it was nice to just kind of turn your brain off for a second.
Yeah, well, that sounds cool.
Yeah. But all right. Anything else?
No, man, I think we've been pretty good.
I like it.
Talking,
Yeah.
having a good time.
I
The Low
am.
Scale Gaming
I
Podcast.
feel like we should have some like
fun.
outro music.
Goodbye. We'll just sing our own ditty.
All right, sing us a ditty,
This was
Mage.
the Low Scale Gaming Podcast. Have fun. Goodbye.
I love it. I'll play it again here at the end. But I'm not actually going to say anything. I'm not going to read the outro because I don't want to. You guys have listened enough and you know what it is. Nobody says anything to us anyway. So if you're listening to us, you know where to find us.
Hey, yeah, and wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to us at Low Scale Gaming Podcast.
Yeah. Rate
And,
us. Do the thing.
Send us a tweet
Yeah.
if you want to ask us a question, or an email at lowscalegaming@gmail.com. Right? Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Woo!
Proud of you. All right.
And you guys have a blessed day.
Uh-huh.
And that's it.
I won't say Finn's thing because it's his thing to say. So see you next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.